Hello, everybody. Welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join us for our League One playoff semi-final second leg review, playoff final preview. You're about to see two people who know that the season is just about to come to an end. I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. You tell me. Let's say a big hello again to Nappers, Cod's Vlogs. Welcome, sir. Are you sad that the season is ending, or are you happy that you loved it all?
Well, I was very happy when the final whistle went on Fleetwood season when we played you. I must admit, I was pining out for the end of the season with about 10 games to go, I must admit. But non-Fleetwood related, I'm gutted that it's over. I've been a bit lost this week with no football. Obviously, last week was a crazy week with all the playoff action within the 4 divisions. You look at what happened in League 2 with Newport, Forest Green and Brentford and Bournemouth the other day. But I think it's always good when it comes to an end, you can reflect. And again, we've got the Euros coming up, which is exciting. But yeah, sad, happy, but glad for a little bit of a break, because I bet you are as well.
Stop it. Hey, I don't know what to do. I had this ridiculously hard week last week, and I promise it was I think it's Monday or Tuesday this week, maybe Tuesday. I was a bit stressed. I was because my days had all been completely stacked up with stuff all days, and it was better finish those season reviews I was doing. Anyway, we're going to go through each of the semi-final second legs, which did not disappoint. To be fair, the playoffs have been so good this year, haven't they? Let's hope the finals deliver. That has landed us with a Blackpool versus Lincoln final, which Ben's going to tell us exactly what's going to happen in that game to the minute ahead of Sunday, 3 p.m. Before we get to that, let me know that you can see me, hear me loudly and clearly. Let's say a big thank you to I think for the last time this season, the Donovan brothers, who sponsor in loving memory of their now past brother, Michael, lifelong Mill fan, admirer of this show. Thank you so much to the Donovan brothers. Such a lovely gesture. And I went on a Zoom call with them at the start of the season. Really, really good people. Typical Millwall fans. Good sense of humour as well. We had a lovely chat, and they've sponsored all season. So we thank them very, very kindly. You can get involved over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Yes, I will do the Q&A this afternoon at some point, I promise. And, of course, because young Ben is on here today, it's so patronising, isn't it, young Ben? I used to hate it when people call me that, but I like to feel I'm taking him under my wing. So, look, we're going to split any super chats that come in, so he gets as much of that as we do. Support both channels there. And, of course, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, blah, blah, blah. And subscribe over to Cod's Vlogs. Ben will plug all this at the end. And the third tier podcast as well that Ben is the host of. Right. Have I done all the housekeeping? I think I have. Let's pop that one up. I think we'll go with that one, being as I haven't bothered to do an actual one for this. Tell us the end of the season, can't you? Right. Friday night. We thought it could be a bit of a dead rubber, Ben, because it was Oxford 0, Blackpool 3 in the first leg. But for a hot moment, I thought something might be going down. But then in the end, Blackpool too strong. But a brilliant 3-3 draw between Blackpool and Oxford. Let's bang through this, Ben, and particularly we'll be looking at that Blackpool 11 as it pertains to what's going to happen on Sunday. It was Maxwell in goal, Turton, Ballard, Husband and Garbutt, Embleton, Dougal, Stewart, Mitchell, Sims and Yates. Mitchell didn't start the first leg, I think. That looks like the only change to me. It would have been Anderson who started the first leg. Ben will tell you better than me. Oxford, Stevens in goal, Ford, Moore, Atkinson, Ruffles, Sykes, Brannigan, Henry, Lee, Taylor and Barker. And Ben, Oxford went up the Blackpool end of the pitch once and scored their first chance. Honestly, did you for 1 second think, oh, here we go, the cat is amongst the pigeons?
I'll be honest with you, I was watching a pub with my dad and he's a Blackpool fan, and I just nudged him and went, here we go. In a jokey way, here we go. I went because I think it was a few years ago, 96, 97, something like that. They played Bradford and they were 2-0 up. Even at half time, 2-0 up with a quarter of it to go. And they had in the programme roadmap to Wembley and they lost 3-2, didn't they? So I went, Bradford again, Bradford's happening. No, but I always thought it'd be a long shot and Oxford would have to stay firm. And it was good to see that they got that first goal. But I always thought Blackpool would score at some point, and I couldn't see Oxford getting 4 or even 5 to possibly win it. But I thought it was always a long shot. But I did think maybe we've got a little bit of a game on.
Yeah, for that hot second. We're just going to go to Tony. Thank you, Tony. $4.99 on the super chat. Who needs the 2 Ronnies when we have the 2 Bennies? Frankie and Benny, Benny Hill, Benny and the Jets. Oh, no, these are all references that are all going over Ben's head, probably, aren't they? Thank you, Tony. Very, very kind. But incredibly, having been 1-0 up on 7 minutes, Oxford were 2-1 down on 13 minutes. Embleton scores an absolute beaut of a goal coming in off the left, curls it into the top corner. And Dougal with a kind of Matrix type stretching headed assist from Ballard gets the second. And yeah, all turn around and we go from cat amongst the pigeons to 5-1 on aggregate. But what a start, Ben. What a first 15.
Unbelievable. It's just the playoffs. And I said a couple of weeks ago, even though Blackpool weren't playing Sunderland in the final and Embleton couldn't play Sunderland, Embleton could have a huge tie on the playoffs, Blackpool going on to win and possibly damaging Sunderland. And that's what happened. He scored an absolute beauty of a goal. He killed it into the keeper's far corner. And that just shows you Blackpool's spirit. They haven't won many times from going behind this season. It's not been losing points, but they're a side that never give up. You know they've got goals in them. You know they've got spirit. And they got the goal. And the second goal is, an old-fashioned League One goal. And you go from a wonder strike to a
great assist, though, Ben. That header back across, wasn't it?
Exactly what I'm talking about, Ben, there. Exactly, set piece. Ballard keeps it in. Proper League One goal, scrappy. The way he keeps it in, I don't know how. I think he's got two necks there to keep it in. He got his extender on. Brought it across. And Dougal, who's not known to score goals, he's been very outstanding in the centre midfield. When Fleetwood played him, I called him the Great Wall of China because he just couldn't get past him. He was unbelievable. And he gets his goal and Blackpool looked out of sight and I couldn't see Oxford getting another 4 or 5 goals that night.
I mean, you say that, but the cat was amongst the pigeons again. Atkinson with this sort of slow motion header that snuck in on 52. But the whole thing, and I think you just kind of summed it up by saying Blackpool have goals in them. And whenever Blackpool needed a goal in this tie, obviously they got 6 in 180 minutes. They scored every 30 minutes in this tie over 2 legs. Yates with a really good striker's goal, touch and early finish, just drove it in, didn't he? Before you react to those 2 goals, thank you, Sean, €10. Thank you so much. Hey up, Ben. Enjoying all this informative. Hey, I'm under the learning tree here. I wouldn't claim to know anywhere near as much as Ben about League One. But those 2 goals again, did you get any kind of a twinge that something might be happening? And talk about Yates and his finishing ability at this level.
Jerry Yates is fantastic, and you know something. You talk about Clark Harris, you talk about Piggott, you talk about Charlie White, but Jerry Yates is right up there. You know what he's been through. Being obviously, you'll know at Rotherham, never really got a sniff. He got a bit of a chance towards that back end of the season when he went down, but he didn't really have a lot to work with. He had a loan spell at Carlisle United in League Two, and also had one with Swindon where he got promoted and he was loved there. But he just works so hard for the cause, and Blackpool are a team that press and work hard and have lots of energy in them, and he uses that. He's like a little terrier dog. He just never leaves you alone. He's always on your tail, and he can be annoying. He can be harassing against defenders, and his finishing ability is second to none. You know, only needs probably one or some. The most he needs is two, and that's the difference with some other strikers at lower league level, or you know, lower in the table than Blackpool. And fantastic player, I like him a lot. And you know, it was I think the best thing about that goal was, I don't obviously want Blackpool to do well, but the celebration, seeing him put that young Jordan shirt up, I can only applaud that. And it was a nice little touch.
Absolutely. I just love how early he hit it. You know, if you're setting up to defend against that and you kind of look, and obviously Sky will give you super slow motion, and you can see one touch on the thigh and he's like, I'm going to hit this as it lands. I'm giving the defenders no more time, and just laced it in there. Great finish. Either shoot early or shoot accurately, or both like that, and you're doing all right in front of goal. Absolutely. It wasn't the end though. Shodipo comes on, and I think I'm trying to remember about 500 goals in my head here. Was it a bit of a rebound one, and he'd come off the bench, hadn't he, Shodipo, and sort of they scored at the second attempt. But we're at the point now, Ben, like you said, where it's 6-2 on aggregate, and you're into the realms of complete fantasy now. But what a great game on the night for 3-3.
Absolutely, and we talked about how good Maxwell's been this season, and he wasn't at his best. Maybe could have stopped one of the three. You know, I thought he looked a bit nervy, and he came out after the game, and I thought fair play. He did a great interview. He goes, "I wasn't at my best. I'll be honest with you. I always had in the back of my heart, in my hand. I thought if I get a stupid booking, I'm out from Wembley," because he got booked in the first leg, I think, and he didn't want to ruin that. So again, he got away with it, but I think he'll be at his best again on Sunday. But yeah, it was a great game, and Oxford, brought a firepower, but Blackpool were like, if you're going to score, we'll go and score, but it wasn't a normal Blackpool performance really, which was surprising, but they're going to have to be again defensively solid, I feel, against a very good solid Lincoln side who we'll get onto it a bit, I'm sure.
Where does that leave Oxford now? Two playoffs in a row. Where does that leave Cole Robinson? Any saleable assets? Atkinson, perhaps, Barker, Sykes driving from midfield, I thought all played well. Did you think we see another new Oxford team next season?
Well, Oxford were always a side. That's why they always start off slow. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago when they only won 4 of the first 16, lost 8, and then they went to go and win 18 in the last 30 games. They always have to rebuild and bring loads of players in, and Cole Robinson has a side of pressing football. He has a philosophy, and it takes time to build into it. So that's why they always start slow. If they can keep as many players at the football club as they can and build around, I think if they can start off, maybe with 6 wins from the first 16 and carry on that form in the second half, they'd have a better chance of, going up. But, they've got a few sellable assets, as you say, like Shapudo and Brannigan, Taylor up front. He's a goal scorer. He scored 35 goals in the last 2 seasons. It's, a great tally. Atkinson, a very good player as well. So they've got a lot of assets. The budget's not too big. It's not too small. But I think they'll go again. While Carl Robinson's there, they'll always be a top 10 side.
And I'm sure this will be a theme in our dearly departed shows, League One next season, Ben. But the amount of big, quote, big clubs now, we're stacking them all up and adding in Sheffield Wednesday to the mix. And, well, we're going to talk about another one who's going to be in there next season in just a second. Remind me as well, Ben, because I'm sure when we get to questions, you already mentioned Piggott and Wyke. We'll get your take on where those two are going to end up, if anywhere, with contracts and things of that nature expiring. So commiserations, Oxford. Well done, Blackpool. great game. They kept us interested for another 90 minutes, despite the first leg score being 3-0, which took some doing. And I really, really enjoyed the game. I thought it was excellent. Now, another game I enjoyed, but I was a little bit more knackered for because I just watched Brentford versus Bournemouth, which was a little bit draining, let's just say. And I suppose it's a little bit of a shame here because we've got Lincoln getting themselves to Wembley. But of course, the big overarching story that tends to get reported is Sunderland, this big club in League One, failing again. Let's get into the game, Ben, and I'm sure you've got a lot to say about Sunderland. Burge in goal. Gooch plays at right back, wearing number 11, which confuses me. Right. O'Neill comes in at centre-back. He played full-back in the first leg. McFadzean. Leadbitter, you said he'd be in, didn't you? Scowen. Maguire. McGeady, who we're hearing waived the extra year on his contract to play the game. I don't know if they had to have something actually written up and a new contract done for that. I'm sure the legal bods would have made sure that happened. But, yeah, as I understand, he waived it and he is now free to leave, as is Charlie Wyke and Ross Stewart, who start up top. For Lincoln, Palmer, Paul, Monsmer has to start in this one. Iyoima and Aidan, Grant, Bridcut, Johnson, Scully, Hopper, Rogers. And, I mean, it tells its own story that one side's making a lot of changes and chasing the game and the other's got a very stable team. But the cat was amongst the pigeons because Sunderland go 2 up. And if the plan was get McGeady on the ball, use his quality and get assists and things of that nature and balls in the box from him, it worked in the first half, didn't it? Stewart and White with 2 very similar goals. Talk me through the first half, Ben. Talk me through the 2 goals and where your head was at in terms of, this is heading strongly in Sunderland's direction.
It was mental because obviously they got the first goal. It was a good ball in by McGeady. He does that. I thought both goals, if I'm honest with you, could have been better defended. But again, good movement in the box by White and Stewart to lead them 2-0. And, they came again. Obviously, White took it around the goalkeeper and he could have squared. It was like a Harry Kane 2018 World Cup moment, wasn't it? But he chose to shot. And it was a great block by TJ Iyoima on the line. Good shift from him. As the half went on, I thought Sunderland again need that third goal. I thought Lincoln started to grow into the last 5 or 6 minutes, started to have a bit of play, but they looked really nervous. I thought they looked really shaky. And that worries me for the final because Blackpool showed no nerves at all over the 2 legs. Not showing any nerves pretty much all season, but Lincoln...
Can I just quickly interrupt, Ben? SofaScore gives you the average age, 23.9 years old, the average age of that Lincoln starting 11. So you're totally right. They are young. Yeah,
and playing in front of 10,000 in that Sunderland game, they were loud, When they get that goal, they're going to get louder and the pressure's going to come. And when they get the second goal, it's all against you. And they did well to hold out till half-time, put it that way. And a tactical bit of genius at half-time, I thought, by Michael Appleton, put it that way.
Something happened at half-time, didn't it?
Bringing McGrandles on because he took Scully off. He brought McGrandles on, a bit more of a central midfielder. He gave them more control in midfield, gave them something to have. And then, again, they could have a platform to build upon. And he obviously won them the penalty. He had a chance that he should have scored that fired over. And but again, he got injured and said, why are you fearing him? We're Lincoln City, We've had an unbelievable season. We've matched them all year. We beat them at the home leg. There's nothing to fear. Go out there, attack them. They've got, attacking midfielder and a defensive midfielder at full-backs. You're Lincoln City. Go out there, and it's pretty much what they did.
It was almost like they had to get themselves in trouble to focus their minds and to get the psychology right and stop the nerves really getting to them, wasn't it? And you're right, double substitution there. McGrandles, who you've mentioned as well. Monsmer came out for Walsh, which was a bit more of a straight swap, wasn't it? And, I mean, it was just a set play goal. But let's be honest, it wasn't just Lincoln went up that end, got a set play. They looked a completely different side in the second half. And then Hopper gets the equaliser. And we're thinking when that penalty gets given, 63, We're thinking that's that, and then Ben, they missed the penalty, and you're like, oh no, are they going to choke now? So even in terms of character, after missing that penalty, to go through with a clean sheet between the penalty miss and the end of the game. Just take me through those, the getting the goal back and the penalty miss.
Well, obviously they came out a bit more energised, a bit more control of the ball. Sunderland were pegged back. I thought Sunderland kind of just wanted to ride out the next 15 to 20 minutes, and if they're still 2-0 up, they know they can go and get a goal in the last 20 to 25 minutes, and that would have been a good shift for them. And I said, Lincoln have done a lot of thinking this first 5 to 6 minutes, but they haven't really tested Lee Burge that often. And obviously they get the corner, and Tom Hopper gets there. And Hopper's a player that obviously I liked at Southend, I liked at Scunthorpe. He's like a David McGoldrick at the lower level. He doesn't quite get the goals he deserves, but he works tirelessly for the cause. He drops deep, he buys fouls, he wins free kick. And
he was done about 15 minutes before. He was knackered, wasn't he? The poor guy. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, but like when I say he winning foul, he won 3 or 4 fouls in the first 10 minutes for a Lincoln side. They had the ball. So stuff like that, and gets his goal. He goes on the old Alan Shearer again.
I like that.
And then obviously the penalty, George Grant, he scored a lot, like 9 or 10 this year. And they've all been low and hard in the corner. But this one, he comes off the ground, and the keeper is a penalty that he should save, but he saves it well. And I thought, oh dear, this is a platform for Sunderland to go again and get that equaliser. And but it was interesting, wasn't it?
There was nothing there, though, was there? And I remember being at, it's one of the most incredible games. I bet Leeds fans hate me bringing it up, but Derby versus Leeds. And you can sometimes see when a big club in a big stadium don't make the expectations, and the players are just paralysed then. And you remember when England lost to Iceland in 2016, and Gary Neville said it. He's like, I don't know what happened. The players just literally froze. They couldn't do anything. You got that bit of a sense from Sunderland, didn't you? That it's very easy for me as a detached observer to sit there and go, but my brain was going, they're not going to score. They're done. They're not going to score in this one. That surge from Lincoln in the first 15 minutes completely killed them. Did you get that feeling with Sunderland? I just didn't feel the goal was coming.
No, they had a lot of speculative efforts from 30, 35 yards. I think Max Power had one that went straight into the stands, and
such a poor decision, was it?
Yeah, and you just had. I think someone tweeted, you bet he had him shouting in his head, Gerard.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but it's worth a putt when it comes off. But like I say, they never looked like scoring, like you say. They were poor, they were passive, but you've got to put that down to a solid Lincoln second half display. They never really gave many opportunities away. They, headed it and cleared it away from their goals, far as possible. And when they could counter, they didn't. This is a team that had chances through, Rodgers. They had one through McGrandles, and they could have had a second goal Lincoln on the day.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. They were far and away the better team in the second half. And I think you just got a bit of a sense, really, of a club and a team that's trended in the right direction, that's kind of well practiced, against a club and a team that's a big club with some good players, but hasn't got as fully formed a sort of strategy or anything. So I'm interested in what you said about Lincoln, because I wonder whether it could work both ways, whether you're right and they are susceptible to nerves being a young team, or whether that's the breakthrough game. It feels a bit of a flip of the coin to me in terms of the Lincoln psychology going into the final on Sunday, Ben.
Yeah, like I say, it's going to be interesting to see how the young players do. They've got obviously a few on loan, but like I say, Sunderland's, I worked out the average age of the squads that have played, that are still at the club, that have played 10 plus games, and Sunderland were like 26 or 27, and Blackpool and Lincoln were the lowest. They were 24, 25, 26 is most of them. But it's going to be, an interesting game to see how Lincoln match up. But like I said, they're going to have to be at the best to beat a very organised Blackpool side. Like you said last week, they know all the roles, they play simple football, and if one player makes a mistake, one can come in, and it's just simple as that, And I do feel Lincoln could get the nerves 10,000 there in a big Wembley Stadium, a chance to go and play in the highest league that they've played in for, obviously, I think they ever played in front of them. And Blackpool have been there and done it. I think Blackpool are the best team in the playoffs as well. They've obviously won promotion there to the Premier League. They won there a few years ago to win promotion back to League One. And like I say, it's going to be interesting to see how both sides match up with their youngish squads.
Talk to me about Sunderland then. I started to smile then. I don't want to appear to be indulging in schadenfreude and enjoying watching the chaos. But, I mean, it was a big deal, wasn't it? And I'm sure you saw the footage of, we don't want to see any managers being yelled at and sworn at and abused or whatnot, but unhappy Sunderland fans. Talk to me about Lee Johnson, about Sunderland, about Louis Dreyfus, the ownership, and Wyke and McGeady, and what the hell happens there now? Year 3, 4? Which year is it in League One now?
This is their 4th season in League One. Coming up, yeah. And, they've always had a decent... I think the squad's got worse, if I'm honest with you, since they've been in the Football League One. And you look at the squad this year, and I looked at the squad and I thought, maybe that is an average League One side. Take McGeady and Wyke out of it, then you're thinking, I know they had a few injuries that are good players. Dean Sanson on loan from Wolves, decent League One player, could play in the Championship. Conor McLaughlin, obviously ex-Fleetwood and ex-Millwall, very good player, out injured as well. Luke O'Nien in the squad could go a level above. But again, McGeady, I think he's 35 now. Will he stay? Will he go? I'm not sure. Wyke's obviously still negotiating a contract, but who would want to go to Sunderland? I know there's still a massive pull, but when you look at the squad and look what the pressurise and look what you get if it doesn't go quite to plan, there's not going to be a lot of players that will want to go there this year, unfortunately. But there's a massive rebuilding squad. Obviously, Scowen got released, Maguire got released, McLaughlin got released, Power got released. They've released a lot. So they've got a lot to do, haven't they? And Lee Johnson, I think you've got to give him a chance to rebuild his squad. It's not his squad. He's done okay since coming in. I think he's averaged the same points per game pretty much as Parkinson did in the first half of the season, when considering that one win in 13 games and they went unbeaten in 12, obviously streaky league coming into full effect there.
It's just one of those, though, where, football managers have got big egos. And if you're the guy that gets Sunderland going and winning, it's, you can understand how attractive the job is for a manager. But to your point, getting players now, isn't it? I guess they'll still be able to pay good salaries. There's lots of out of contract players, and they can always promise a pretty populated stadium of light, and by League One terms, obviously a huge club. So going to be very, very interesting with Sunderland. Another year of Sunderland till I die. I think, we all would like to have been a fly on the wall. Appleton picked McGrandles out as his man of the match. Not bad going, considering he only played 45 minutes. Just quickly, Ben, Lee asked, and somebody else asked, further up in the chat, about the final. Now, our friend Billy was running a whole campaign. He's been on all national media, the Besotted Boys at Brentford, about the ticket allocation and the comparison, obviously, between the EFL and what the FA got in terms of the FA Cup final. I can see everybody sitting there going, yeah, but Ben, this is all interlinked, and we don't want to sit here and be the whiny EFL fans, but it does seem a bit of an odd disparity, how few tickets are being sold, don't you think?
Especially when there's been under 100 COVID deaths since the FA Cup final. Obviously, they've ramped up the vaccines. And yes, there was only 6,500 per team, and there was 7,000 or 8,000 Londoners there. I reckon they should have had 7,500 each minimum, pretty much, or 10,000, max. And if it took longer, I think if you asked fans, would you have 10,000 if it took you half an hour extra to get out of the ground? Every one of them would go, yes, yes, yes. Because then you're in, a section at a time, they can leave another section, and it does take longer. But again, you're seeing it works well. And they're talking about 90,000 at the Euros, and that's only 3-4 weeks after this final. And I don't understand why? And again, a great campaign. And obviously, we've seen in the last few weeks, I think they're having an extra 2,000 tomorrow, aren't they? And they've allocated an extra.
Yeah, they put them on sale last night, didn't they?
And they've allocated more for the League Two final. I think they've forgotten what League One is. So, but I don't want to be saying this. I believe if Sunderland got to the final, they would have changed the rules because we can't have dear Sunderland only have 4,000 fans. But Blackpool and Lincoln, I think they, but because the more Sunderland fans, there's more reach. And it's unfortunate, but it's what we live with. And the only good sign is at least there are fans. 3 weeks ago there wasn't any fans allocated.
True.
So you got to think 8,000 is better than nothing.
It's just the disparity with the FA Cup final. It just seems glaringly the easiest thing to argue. I always think this when I'm going back and forth with someone on Twitter or something. I think, is what they're saying reasonable? And when they turn around and say, right, 2 weeks ago you did this and now you're doing this, and it's very much, well, yeah, that is a pretty reasonable argument. But look, and speaking to Sunderland, I was at the League One playoff final in 2018-19, and honestly, the Charlton end, the bottom bit was all full. That I was sat in the nice ring around the middle. Not a lot going on up the top there. The Sunderland end, completely full. There must have been, I don't know how they split it on playoffs, 35,000 of them had travelled down. So you're totally right. They would have been leaning very heavily on the ticket people. Guys, get your questions in because we'll go to them. If you're watching and you're in the chat, get your questions in now. We'll go to them after we've spoken about the final. And I'm sure Ben will take a few and particularly want to remember that one. I've got my Ipswich hat, and I have to say I want to hear about Joe Pigott and Charlie White because I wouldn't mind them coming and negotiating terms for sure. Right. So Sunday, Lincoln versus Blackpool. Let's stay with Lincoln. Let me just bang through. I don't think you'll smarten me up on this in terms of injuries. There's much happening there. How similar, and I'll read them out: Palmer, Poole, Monsma, Iyoima, Aiden, Grant, Bridcut, Johnson, Scully, Hopper, Rogers. How similar do you think Lincoln are going to be? I know you've mentioned McGrandles, haven't you? To that, as that, I think we get the system, won't we? The 4-3-3. But how similar do you think? And Walsh as well, who came on in the second half for Monsma.
Yeah, I can see Walsh coming in for Monsma, if I'm honest with you. And Monsma's the type of player, if you're 1-0 down chasing the game, you can bring him on.
Stick him up front, yeah.
Yeah, he's got 6 goals this season, and he's a big target. Obviously, Bridcut, I think, will start as well. And McGrandles will start with him. And I think pretty much similar after that. I think Scully, you've got, Hopper up front, you've got Rogers, you've got Grant, you've got a load of good players in there, who are all very, very good players. Brennan Johnson as well. And I can see it being very similar, but maybe a couple of changes to that.
And on a Blackpool, let me just quickly bring up their second leg team. I think we said there was only one change between the first leg and the second leg. Sorry, I'm faffing here. Where's the most recent game? There we go. We know for sure that big threat of Sims and Yates will be starting up top, don't we? The back four, and you told us there's often this plan of Turton, Ballard, Husband and Garbett, but then Garbett doesn't play the whole game and Gabriel comes in on the other side towards the end. It all looks fairly locked up, doesn't it? Other than Dimitri Mitchell. Was Anderson on the bench? Keshi Anderson was on the bench. That really... what about that winger that Blackpool have got that's really good that used to play for Palace? Yeah. Is he anywhere near or?
I think he could, play, obviously. But I thought Mitchell will play absolutely because he was outstanding, I think he's been out in and out of the team this year, but I think he just thrived to the crowd. Every time he took the ball past the Oxford man, he just thrived off it, and the crowd loved him. And he got better and better as the game went on. He brought energy, brought enthusiasm, and him and Dougal, in my opinion, were the best two Blackpool players, or I think the two best players on the pitch that night. And I think Mitchell will definitely start.
I just got the Blackpool Gazette up here in the background. It was a hamstring for Kai last month, so it sounds like he's been out a while. And it said for the last game, the semi-final, that's as near as I've got anything, quote, could be in contention. So you would think if he could be in contention for the semi-final, then he would be in contention to the final for sure. Go on then. How do you see it going?
It's going to be a very tough game. Blackpool again, the first 7 games, he only won 1, and then 22 out of the last 39 in the league, and a great record in the playoffs. I think 5 promotions via the playoffs from 8 attempts. I think they've lost 1 final. We obviously beat Yeovil recently in 2007, beat Cardiff 2010, lost to West Ham in 2012, beat Exeter in 2017. And then you look at Lincoln, young side, a lot to prove. No one put them up there at the start of the year. Good manager. Never been there before. It might be like Shrewsbury when they played Rotherham a couple of seasons ago, 3 years ago. Yesterday it was actually. And I just fancy Blackpool just because how good they are, how solid they are, how simple they make it look. They don't have to get out of gear 1. They don't have to get out of gear 2 or gear 3 sometimes to win a game. And they're just so calm and composed. They know the job. Critchley's going to keep it calm. And they've got the players to do it. And, and Lincoln, you think it's going to be a long shot for them to win. I like them a lot. I'd love them to see them give Blackpool a game. They're a very good side, but Blackpool's experience and know-how in the playoffs, they're tactically wise, and I don't think they'll get frozen. I just think Blackpool live up to big expectation. I think they'll win 2-0 or 2-1.
I'm kind of in the mind of if Blackpool take the lead, that might be that in this game. I think Lincoln need to be in front and bring Blackpool out a little bit for it to be. But Blackpool strong favourites. Do you think there's any way back? And is it all just down to stopping the 2 forwards, Yates and Sims? Remember, Sims didn't score in the second leg, and they still scored 3, didn't they?
No, they've got a lot of good players, Ben. Yates is one. He scored, obviously, 21 with his playoff goal. Sims has got 10 with his playoff goals as well. But again, they've still got goals from all over. Do you know what I mean? You can still add 20 or 30 goals on from all over. If Kai can come back, he can add goals. Embleton from midfield can add goals as well. And then you look from set pieces, look like Ballard. Obviously, we've seen his aerial presence in recent weeks. Epiteta can add some aerial threat if he comes on. You've got a set piece specialist in Luke Garbutt, who's very, very dangerous.
Actually, Ben, not just the set plays. In that first 20 minutes, that left-hand side was destroying Oxford, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he used to play for Oxford as well. And Oxford came out and it left gaps for him. And if you leave gaps to Luke Garbutt, he will exploit you. He's very dangerous, a very good attacking fullback as well. And then normally sides have goals from their midfield. I know Dougal scored the other day, but because the way Blackpool playing a 4-4-2 and 2 very kind of expressive wingers, you can have Kai and Mitchell, or they can change at all given times. They have Dougal and Stewart, who are all protect the line. Let you can go forward and we'll protect you. So they kind of attack with 4, defend with 6, and then when they go forward, attack with 6, defend with 4, and that's what Blackpool do well. And I just have a feeling it's going to be won by one of the star men for Blackpool, either Yates, Sims, Kai, Mitchell. They've got a lot of good players, and their transfer business this year was absolutely unreal, and that's what set kind of Blackpool different to the rest this year.
How many of these players do you think end up in the Championship, whatever happens, sort of a Brennan Johnson, or, if Blackpool didn't make it, a Yates or a Sims then going out on loan to a different team? We're probably talking more than a handful, aren't we?
Absolutely. I saw your stream recently when someone asked you what players from League One could step up to the Championship. And obviously, again, I had to think about that. And when you look at this game, Yates has got interest from Forest, I think if Blackpool go up, he'll stay. If he doesn't go, I worry. He's shown that he can score goals at this level. He's still at a good age as well. Sims, again, had a good loan spell. I don't think he'll feature at Everton, but will go out on loan to possibly a Luton or a side like that. And then you've got, Maxwell could probably go up a level again. He's done it before. Ballard, Luke Garbutt could do it again. Mitchell could do it. Then you look at Lincoln. I think Grant could do it easily. I think Brennan Johnson, Morgan Rogers could do it. I think Adoon could do it. Palmer could do it. There's a lot of good players that could easily step it up. And it's all about the side that don't go up, how they keep their players and add to it. I think if Blackpool lose 2 or 3 and don't go up and keep Critchley and add to that, I think they'll be fine. And Lincoln I worry a bit more about because most of their better players are on loan. In Rogers and Brennan Johnson and TJ Ayoma. I think Blackpool have the more settled squad than Lincoln to go again next year as well.
Be interesting to see what happens with Critchley, because if you look at Steve Cooper at Swansea, the pathway of obviously it was an England representative team, but this idea of these highly qualified coaches coming through and being managers, it feels like that's going to be, rather than you go back to someone who's managed 200 games or whatever, feels like there'll be more Coopers and Critchleys, particularly not in the Premier League, but particularly in League One and the Championship. Yeah,
Ben, he's obviously one of the top 11, 12 most qualified coaches, isn't he? For the the levels that he's got. Obviously he's had great experience with Liverpool under 23s, but he's also got a great assistant. And Calderwood has come on board, the experienced man, obviously, been a manager at different clubs and been a good coach over the years. And I think Critchley will go on to have a good career, whatever happens tomorrow. I think Blackpool will give him time. I don't think any Blackpool fan, if you offered Blackpool at the start of the year, you're going to be in a playoff final, I think most will be like, okay. I think most of them wanted the playoff, but I don't think they get this far. But what he's done is unbelievable, and still a young manager, still a lot to learn. But again, we'll go on and obviously have a great career, I believe, Ben.
And our mate Lee's never going to shut up if they win.
I'm expecting it, Ben. I'm expecting it on Sunday when I turn on my phone, all the tweets at me and going, "You're right, nappers," and no. But like I say, they're in there for a reason. I've kind of put myself in. If Blackpool don't win, then okay. Then if Blackpool win, then I've covered myself with what I've said, and but it's going to be an interesting game. And Lincoln are no pushovers, like someone said in the chat. Lincoln beat Blackpool at Bloomfield Road. They were 2-1 down and 3-2. A different Blackpool side. I think it's 7 or 8 changes tomorrow.
Chris agrees with you on that one, Ben, as well. Guys in the chat, we'll do some Q&A if you've got it. If you can focus it, League One. Ben will pick them up, I'm sure. Get your predictions in as well. You don't have to give us score lines. Don't want to hear about extra time or penalties or anything. Just give us a name, Blackpool or Lincoln. Who do you think is going to be making it on Sunday? Who's winning promotion in the League One playoff final? While any questions or predictions come in, keep that comments cycling for us, guys. Ben, do you want to plug podcast and channel and Twitter for us?
Well, my YouTube channel is CODS Vlogs, CODS Vlogs, VLOGS. I do League One content. I also try and focus on other divisions as well when I can. A bit of Fleetwood content in there as well. So, like I say, I'm just trying to rise at the moment, trying to flush out the Fleetwood content a little bit. Still going to be doing it, but bring in the League One content, a bit like Ben, like the League One nerd. And if you could give me a follow or a subscription, it's free to do so, and it would be massively appreciated. I'm trying to get to 7,000 on there. Again, Twitter, FDSC Nappers. That's more kind of League One statistics and, longest serving managers, percentage of wins at home to away, stuff like that. And I also help out on a third-tier podcast on YouTube as well, which is all about League One. And we look at the teams coming down and teams coming up from League Two as well, which should be very interesting. Thank you for anyone that goes and supports any 3 of those.
And Ben's going to be here next season after many, many requests. And let's be honest, from Sheffield Wednesday fans, for us to do Dearly Departed League One version. I know how to think about it. And I thought, I don't have the time to do this unless I get someone who knows all about this stuff already. So we're going to have, it's probably going to be a weekly show, isn't it, Ben? Dearly departed League One version, which we need to hammer this out, which we'll do privately between the two of us, which will definitely involve Sheffield Wednesday after the number of requests I had, Rotherham and Wickham. And then we might have a little think about some other teams, possibly not that one, though, in the background there. Right, let's get some predictions up here from you guys. Lincoln, Blackpool, Lincoln, heart overhead, right? Peanuts has got Brentford, Blackpool and Morecambe. I wouldn't have the first idea on Morecambe. I know they had a barnstormer of a playoff. Was it Morecambe and Tranmere, Ben, I think?
It was. Yeah. It was unbelievable. I was watching that game in Tranmere. We had about 8 corners in the first 20 minutes. and then Morecambe just go down the other end of about 10% possession, go and score. Tranmere come straight back and they go and score again. And in the second leg, they were unbelievable. Morecambe and saw the job out. And what a job I said on my Twitter, how good it would be to see Accrington, Fleetwood, Morecambe, all in, this division next year as well.
I think you might have a few Southerners who don't like driving who might not like that, but it's certainly great for you Northwesterners, wasn't it? Right, let's get some more predictions up here. I think Blackpool will win. Want it to be League. There's a lot of kind of goodwill towards Lincoln here. Anyone else thinking of no pushovers? Liam's going for Blackpool. Right, let's go to some questions. Well, more a comment here from Lee. Good to get some good new names in the Championship. Well, we're guaranteed one of those, aren't we, with either Appleton or Critchley. Gaza, is there going to be a spending spree in League One now the wage cap is gone and the window open? Obviously, there's not a lot of money swelling around, but you are going to have a lot of players out of contract, and the likes of Sunderland, Ipswich, Pompey, all probably going to end up paying over the odds in terms of salary. So he might be right there, Gaz, mightn't he?
Aye, absolutely. And I like your rare smile. You said Ipswich now with a new wealthy owner. And,
yeah, right.
They'll go again. No,
they'll mess it up somehow. Don't you worry.
No. But Paul Cook will have a rebuild there, and I'd be surprised if they don't bring some good players in. Portsmouth will go again. Sunderland can go again. Blackpool don't have. Blackpool have good resources as well. Charlton could possibly go again. New owner as well. Bolton, good ownership as well as, Wigan ownership. We carry on waiting on these teams, and they've got all big budgets, and it's going to be a 11 or a 12 horse race next season just to get into the top 6, in my opinion. And obviously, you've got the sides like a Crewe, a Fleetwood, a Burton that will hopefully get a little bit better this year. And I think I'm going to say this now. I think Shrewsbury will be a dark horse next year. They've done a bit of business early, but Pennington back in on loan, and I'm going to call it early. I think Shrewsbury will be a bit of a dark horse next year.
Interesting. I can't believe this. I'm going to quote Ian Holloway, but I'm going to do it anyway. I remember him talking once, and he said, what fans don't remember, or what fans forget, is that only one team can win every game. And it doesn't matter how many of these potentially decent sides you've got in the league. One of them's going to finish bottom. Only one of them's going to finish top. And the natural order will be what it is. Sophie, where will Oxford and Sunderland finish next season? Give me a ballpark area and tell us who's going to finish higher.
Sunderland will finish higher, in my opinion. I think Oxford will be between the playoffs and 8th and 9th. I think Sunderland will be anywhere between 3rd and 5th again. I don't think they'll go top 2. I think they'll be in around
playoffs again.
Again, 5th season in League One and you're on.
Stop it. Tony, 3 teams who will do much better than last year. Wigan, I think that's pretty certain, isn't it? MK, they're an interesting one, aren't they? They've been in the Championship before. Russ Martin's interesting. And obviously Ipswich on the basis of how rubbish they were in comparison to expectations. Early shouts for playoffs are better. What do you reckon?
MK Dons, they're getting into a play style now. He's gone from like a point per game to like 1.4, 1.5 points a game. And they've got them playing good football as well. Some good players. They'll let a couple of the oldies go and they'll bring some in. Obviously, they can keep Cameron Jerome scoring goals. They've got Fraser in midfield who's got, I think, 14 goals, this
He's
season.
going to be very sought after, isn't he?
Yeah, and he got on a free transfer last year. An unbelievable.
Where from, Ben?
Well. He's from Burton. He's a Scottish player. He's from Burton. He got, obviously, I think he left in the summer.
Right.
So, but again, they've got a very good squad there. If they can have one or two, which I think his recruitment's been good. I think they could be. I don't think playoffs this year. I've always said it's a 3-year process, a 3-year full season. So this year, I think we finished 13th. Next year, top 10. The year after, 6th. I think if you asked MK fans, they'd ask that. And Ipswich and Wigan, I can agree on.
Yeah, Wigan very much interests me because they just had to weather the storm for 1 year, didn't they? And good job. And yeah, I think there's quite a lot of other Ipswich fans are quite disappointed that Liam Richardson's going to be managing Wigan and not going to be Paul Cook's assistant over at Ipswich, because I think that would have been just the ticket. But there we go. What are we saying here in the chat? Young Ben, are you sad to see Coots go? He was outstanding for Blades. Was never quite the same player after doing his leg against Burton. That was horrible. There's broken legs, and that was a horrible one. Where's Paul Coots gone, Ben?
He's gone to Bristol Rovers to link up with Joey or Josephine. Yeah, I like him because he was very elegant. He was very sideways, and he didn't always play the most adventurous of passes, but he was a player that keyed it all together. And when he didn't play for your team, you noticed a difference. And when he was in, you're much stronger and you looked a bit more organised, and you always looked on the front foot. But he's a good player. I like him a lot, and he'll do well at League Two level. Obviously, 67 appearances for us, only scored 1 in the Papa John's Trophy, which Wednesday fans will sure to know about next season.
The Pizza Cup.
Oh, the Pizza Cup. And again, well known to Salford when Joey left, so we could have a bit of a wages to spend on other resources. And going to be interesting, though. Going to be interesting to see how he does there. And I think he'll do very well at Bristol Rovers, and I wish him all the best.
Liam, who's our in-house MK expert, says Blackpool, and he's not going to be very happy if Scott Fraser does leave. Thank you again, Tony. He super chatted earlier. Give young Ben a follow. It's good stuff. Absolutely. We endorse this message on the channel. Keep you up forever. Where will Todd Kane end up in League One? I guess he's been released by QPR. That's a right fullback, London-based. Was he QPR forever will tell us. I think it might have been, was it Spurs or something beforehand? I can't remember. Maybe I'm getting the wrong. But yeah, so I remember him playing wing back, actually, probably a decent level League One player there for somebody as well. These players often stay in and around London, though, don't they? So maybe Charlton might, FC Wimbledon might be the one there. Having spent 6 years in League One, this is Lee Blades fan. I'm Steve. It's not recurring. I fear it's getting too long for Sunderland. Do you guys agree? Having a big stadium doesn't give you any points. Well, yeah.
I think the thing is, Ben, a lot of teams, when they play Sunderland, saw it as their kind of cup final, if you like, and they went to attack. Now no one fears Sunderland. Like, if Sunderland fans think I fear Sunderland, and I like Sunderland away, it's always a good away day, but it's not the first away day I look on my list anymore. You know, been there, done that. I know we can go there again and get something, but like I say, I think the longer it goes on, the more pressure that piles on. And Sheffield United took him a long way, but when they did it right. They didn't cut a corner. They brought the right players in. They brought the right manager in. They brought the right philosophy in. They had the fans on side. And and we beat them at Sheffield United away 2-0. And we were in the playoffs that year. They went up in. Again, a lot of their fans said how good we were against them. And then they went to go and get 100 points and won the league. And we went to the playoffs and unfortunately lost to Bradford, who then lost to Millwall. So it ended quite different. Now, obviously, they've been in the Premier League side. We're still in League One.
There you go. Chris is going to lower the tone here. 4 candidates for relegation next year. Plymouth, Cambridge, Morecambe or Newport, which must be the League Two playoff final, right? And AFC Wimbledon. Who you burying already, Ben?
Wimbledon won't go down because they have a spirit. They're like the League One Burnley. They always have low resources, nothing to work with. They have lost Piggott, which is going to be a big blow. They can replace.
Where's he going to go, Ben?
I think you've got about 30 clubs that's going to be ringing him up. Put it that way. I don't think he's going to be short of offers. I think.
So this is a 25-goal striker, high on physicality, out of contract, basically.
Yeah, I'd look. If I was if I was a Championship club, I think maybe a QPR. We could have a look. Luton could have a look. And then you look at the League One side of stuff. You look at Charlton, still London-based. Portsmouth, still local. Ipswich. Don't have to. Sorry, guys. Wait for a minute then.
Keep going. Go.
I think there's going to be a few different clubs on his list. I think Ipswich could be one.
Interesting. And a bit of a bum fight maybe for he or Wyke. AFC Filed. I know nothing, Ben. Still big money behind AFC Filed. Is that the case?
Yeah, put it that way. They had Danny Rowe. They said he never paid over $1,000 for, and ended up paying £1,600 a week for in the National League North. So they're going to go again, and they signed some big players already on big contracts.
A couple more here, and then we will bid you farewell. Sunderland struggling because everyone wants to beat them. I do know what Adrian means there. You do get that natural raising of the game, and then when a few teams start, we had it as well at Ipswich. When a few teams started winning at Portman Road, everyone was lining up and getting a little bit sort of confident about it.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you, everybody, for joining. If you're still in the stream and you lasted the whole time, you're a legend. Thank you for your predictions. Please hit like before you go on the stream. I'm sure we're heavily on subscribers here, but if you haven't already subscribed to myself, please do so. And, of course, go and subscribe to Ben and Cod's vlog channel over there. Ben, are you coming back and should we do a review?
Yeah, I think we should do a review of the final. And if Blackpool win, no, thanks, no. I'd love to, and I can't wait for the new season, which is 10 weeks away now. Not that I'm.
Is it only 10 weeks away? Jesus.
Yeah, 10 weeks away. Then you're busy for another 10 months.
Stop it. Wall-to-wall football, dearie me. Sophie, thank you for the preview. Be glued to the finals over the weekend. You and me both. Tony, thank you. Liam, see you for the playoff final tomorrow. Yeah, come and join me tomorrow. Biggest game in football, £170 million game. You name it. Insert cliche. Brentford v Swansea. I'll be here on Sunday as well. Ben, are you watch along in the League One final?
At the moment, I'm unsure, so I'm going to have a look at it. But maybe, possibly.
So it looks like both Ben and I will be watch along in the League One. So flip between both of us, I guess, is the most diplomatic way of saying that, isn't it? Hit the like button. Callum, Brentford and Blackpool for those two games. There we go. They do appear to be the two favourites, don't they? Right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. This has been the League One semi-final review, final preview. And say goodbye, Ben.
Thank you guys for watching, and have a lovely weekend watching all the football. And thanks for having me on again, Ben, and I really appreciate it.
Legend. And it's a big over and out from me. We have got a playoff final statistical analysis coming up later in the day, of course. You love to say, well, I do anyway. So there you go. Now I'm going out for dinner tonight. So I'm going to turn everything off at about 5, 6 o'clock and have a nice evening out with my better half. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And it's an over and out from me. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.